So how do you actually keep people coming back to the real world, which was once obviously Hustlers University, right?
Yeah.
How do you get people coming back and, you know, make sure they know that we are still here?
Yeah, so TikTok have gone, so have Meta, so have Instagram,
yeah. I
so
mean,
have
you've
Facebook.
been banned on all
I'm banned
yeah.
everywhere, right? And you're right, they don't like people saying anything nice about me. They don't like my voice. They don't like a still picture of me, nothing.
Literally
it's crazy.
nothing, yeah.
All I do is I make it obvious to people that the platform exists. And to further go down the rabbit hole of why that platform does exist, it's not for me to make money. I can resign now, I can retire now for the rest of my life if I wanted to live semi-sensibly. If I stopped buying 3 cars a week, I could probably still do that for a good 10 years, but you know, I could calm down and live a very nice life. The reason I have the real world is the same reason I have the war room, because when I talk about all the problems I talk about, the astute members of the populace will sit and say to me, okay, then what's the solution? Andrew, you're right. You're right. The legal system's a joke. They're out to keep us all enslaved. We're not allowed to have an opinion as a man. We live in a matriarchy. My job hates me. What's the answer? And I'm I'm a little bit disappointed in myself that I've only come up with 2 answers so far, but they're the only answers that have ever worked for me. And perhaps there's another answer that's better than the ones I have. But the only answers I can come up with, in fact, 3 answers, I apologize, is 1, God. You need God. That's the most important thing. The second is you need money. And the third is that you need brotherhood. And I believe if you have those 3 things, you become much harder to be damaged by the system. When I go to jail, I can call my brother and make sure that my women and my children are taken care of. I can have someone to look after them. I have a bunch of money so they can be taken care of. I can get the best lawyers. I have influence. So when they lie about me on the BBC, I can tweet and call them a liar and get more views than the BBC does.
Yeah, literally, yeah.
More views than the BBC. Andrew Tate, this. I can just say lie, fake news, boom, done. So I can fight against them. Well, how do I fight against them? I fight against them with my influence, which is based on my brotherhood and the people I work with inside the war room and the money I have, and God. So when I created the real world, the primary objective is for people to learn how to make money online so they can escape the matrix. Because if you have a job, you're going to be controlled. If you have a job, you can't have an opinion anymore. You can't talk. You can't say certain things online, you'll lose your job. You can't not get the vaccine, you'll lose your job. You can't not wear a mask, you'll lose your job. You have to obey, you have to comply, or you can't pay the mortgage. If you make money for yourself online, you're now harder to control. So when they come along with their infantile ideas and try and force you to perpetuate and purport them, you can sit and say, no, I'm making my own money, you're a liar. So that's the reason I made the real world, and that's the reason I made it so cheap, $49 a month, so people can join and learn how to make money online. And the reason there's the war room is because of brotherhood, because I believe that if you analyze any period of human history, including Genghis Khan, as we just discussed, it's always been about brothers. What was Genghis Khan? It was a bunch of his boys, your boys, get on a horse.
And just conquering.
Yeah,
literally.
bro,
Yeah,
we still do it.
Yeah.
You and your boys, you all get together, you go to the
out in the
club, you get
cars,
some
yeah.
girls, that it's the same.
Yeah.
Everyone gets on a horse, let's ride that way. What's over there? Don't know, who cares?
We'll find out, we'll take
it.
Yeah.
So brotherhood has always been what Conquest is about, and it's also always been a small band of brothers to resist evil. Let's say when Genghis Khan got to Vienna. I'm not gonna discuss who's the good guy and who's the bad guy. It's just the natural law of the universe that conflict appears. But the people who were defending Vienna were what? Brothers, brotherhood, get your sword. Who are they? Let's go. So if you're in a war, and I believe we are, and I think anyone who's looking at life as anything other than war can't be competitive and is destined to be decimated. If you understand you're in a war, then you need brotherhood and you need money. What does Ukraine keep asking for? Money. You need money to fight, and you need men you can count on, which is why I have the real world that teaches people how to make money online, and the war rooms you can join a fraternity.
You have the men.
That's right, because I believe if you start to make a bunch of money and you get a bunch of men you can rely on, you then become much harder to enslave. That's the reason those 2 things exist at cobratate.com, and that's the reason I tell people to join them. And it's not because I'm philanthropic. I want to make it clear. I know the world thinks I'm the nicest man ever. But they don't think that. I'm just going to say it. But it's not because I'm philanthropic. I'm not going to sit here and say, I'm trying to help you guys at home. No. If you're a broke loser, you can stay a broke loser. That's completely fine by me. My cars need washing. You can wash them. Don't care. But I don't care. I don't care. But if I'm going to try and crack the matrix, I can't do it by myself. So I want all of the people who agree with what I say and think like I think
Crack the matrix together.
to be rich. Andrew, you have 1,000 fans. Do you want poor fans or rich fans? I want rich fans.
Rich fans, yeah, of course.
Andrew, you have 1,000 fans. Do you want them to all know each other and be part of a brotherhood and be part of a fraternity, or do you want them to be independent and isolated?
Know each other.
To know each other.
Yeah.
That's all it is. I'm raising an army. I'm Genghis Khan. Get on the horse, guys. Get on the horse.
Let's go.
We're going to fight. And you can join, and I'll make your life better by extension. That's one of the greatest things about my brand. I think it's probably one of the reasons I have no problem with the fact they're going to throw me in jail, etc. Because I know I'm living for a purpose. I know that, just like you said earlier on this podcast, if you're an Andrew Tate fan, your life improves. And that's a good feeling. If you're a fan of a normal streamer, your life doesn't improve. If you're a fan of Logan Paul or KSI or these idiots, well, then what do? You get sugary drinks and WWF. Great. You don't get anything. I know that if you're a fan of me, your life genuinely improves. And in the karmic circle of the universe, all of that positive energy will end up back with me. There's no way you can take thousands, perhaps millions of people and make them feel more dedicated, more motivated, more happy, more positive, more inspirational. You can do all of those things and not benefit from it in some way, whether they put me in jail or not. There's good vibes in the universe. I'll pick them up. It's fine. And I'll walk out, tell the BBC, hello, speak to Lucy. No big problem. So I'm very proud of myself because I know I'm doing the right thing. And that's the reason I refuse to shut up. Because if I was only entertaining people, I could shut up. Okay, there's no point going to jail to make people laugh. No, but there is a point in going to jail to make so many people's lives better. So as a professional, to go back to why the real world exists and how I get people to go there, I don't try and sell it to anyone. That's actually a really good point. It's a good question you asked me.
Because I'm just trying to see.
No, but it's a good question because if I am a billionaire and I am obviously monumentally financially successful, and I've just explained to people at home why I want them to join, because I want them to be rich. I have a vested interest in them being rich. Your university professor does not have a vested personal interest in you becoming rich. He doesn't care. He's doing a job. I have a vested personal interest in trying to make my fans as rich as possible. Never else in your life is a billionaire going to care about making you money, ever. Only now. It costs less than a Nando's. It's $49 a month. If you still don't join, well, then you're a dumbass. And I don't want you to join anyway. So I've mentioned it enough times, I feel. And I also feel like now I'm at a point where I'm above getting people to join. It exists. And if you're not a loser, you'll join because you want to save your life. And if you don't want to save your life, you want to stay a slave, you can go stay a slave.
But I'm trying to come at it at a point where, for example, you were once the most Googled man on the whole of the earth, right? And all these things, the TikTok clips, the podcast, everything, Instagram accounts, Twitter, whatever you name it, they were all a big funneling system for that. And now where there's the cases, these platforms have banned you, apart from Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, it's like, how can you get back to being that most famous man, the most Googled man on the earth?
I don't know if I need to be anymore, because unfortunately, the idiot who made that documentary was incorrect. I'm not chasing fame. I'm doing what I believe to be right. I'm going to speak to the people I want to speak to. I wanted to see you. That's why we're doing this podcast. I get 10 podcast requests a day. I don't do them because I need to do them, or I want to do this one, so I'm doing it. It's fun. And the people who join the real world, who want to be freed from the matrix, will join. If nobody joins, that's fine. I don't need the money. We have over 200,000 students anyway. I mean, I know what you're saying. I don't wake up and think, how do I get views? I don't care anymore. I wake up, I do what I'm supposed to do. I train hard. I see my children. I work. I make a bunch of money. If I have a platform to speak on, I'm going to tell the truth. If I tweet something, it's going to be the truth. And God will do the rest. And it is what it is. And the only reason these things exist are to help the people at home be valuable fans of mine. And I think that's an important point in terms of fans. I want to have valuable fans. I don't. If I'm going to raise an army, I want men who can fight.
Yeah, you don't want brokies.
Yeah, I don't want. Yeah, if you're going to raise an army, do you want me? Do you want a bunch of men who can't fight? No, you want men who can fight. So if you're going to join my army, you need to be able to train, work hard, and be able to fight. I don't want to go to war with a bunch of idiots. So if you're sitting at home and you're working at McDonald's and you can't escape the rat race, you're not much good to me. So then why are you watching my stuff? Why would you sit here and watch me speak for hours
and then do fuck all?
And then not go and join the school and get rich? Like, you must be out your mind. But there are people who do this, and there are some people who you just can't help. There is a huge percentage of the populace which they're beyond saving because they're the worst thing you can possibly be, which is a quitter. Being a quitter is the worst thing you can possibly be. God himself can't make a quitter important, because the only reason the place you're trying to get to has value is because it was difficult to reach. If everybody could reach it, there'd be no value. Value is linked to scarcity. The whole point gold is valuable is because it's not everywhere. If it was everywhere, it wouldn't have any value. The reason the place you're trying to reach is valuable is because people can't get there. So if you're the kind of person who quits, you're never gonna get there. Quitters are the worst. You could give a quitter a map, a treasure map, and a hot air balloon, and say it's gonna take you right to the treasure. It's gonna be a 7-day journey. Here's a sandwich, and halfway through they'll be like, oh, I'm cold.
Yeah, you just said that, 7 days, nah.
Yeah, and they'll quit.
Yeah.
Quitters will never make it. And there's a huge subsect of the populace who are basically simply quitters. I've never in my life seen anyone who's determined to get something not get it. I've never seen somebody who is determined in their heart to get something not get it. The universe and God is so giving and providing. People think it's difficult out here. I disagree. I've never seen someone wake up and say, nah, this is all I care about. This is all I want. Not get it. Everyone who thought that way in fighting was a world champion. Everyone who thought that way about money was rich. I've never seen anyone fail. Bro, I've seen people with no credit score and no job determined to get an R8 manage to get one on finance somehow. I've seen it. If it's all you want, you're gonna get it.
You're gonna find a way to get it.
You're gonna find a way.
Yeah.
People go, oh, I want this. If you wanted it, you'd have it.
Literally, I spoke to a man who had done a podcast recently, and he was saying if someone had a gun to your children's head and said to you, the only way I'm gonna move this gun is by you making $1 million, you are gonna make $1 million.
100%.
Yeah.
You're gonna be motivated for the first time in your life. People often say, if you try your best, it's okay to fail. But what they don't understand, the true secret to the universe is that if you try your best, you never fail.
Yeah.
That's what people don't understand. And most people aren't trying. They aren't trying. They don't know what trying is. In fact, that's probably one of the things I hear the most. I used to hear the most, because I don't talk to people anymore because they all annoy me. I'm trying. No, you're not. You don't know what trying is. No, you are not trying. I know you're not trying. I know, because as we sat here before we went to speak, you weren't on your phone working. You weren't trying. You were standing around talking shit to some idiot. You're not trying. People are genuinely not out here giving their absolute best, because if you were, you'd have everything you've ever desired. You'd have anything you've ever wanted and asked for. Instead, what people do is they cope and convince themselves they're trying. Oh, I tried, but I need a work-life balance, and it's hard, and I was trying. All garbage, it's all cope. And like I said earlier, life is war. If you're a man and you don't view the world as war, I can't imagine how you view the world. My entire worldview is war. I was actually having this conversation the other day about why I avoid extreme sports. This was some girl, and she's like, would you ever jump out of a plane with me? I'm like, bitch, no.
Why do you avoid extreme sports?
Well, because my life is extreme. But my life is hard. I'm at war. If your life is extreme and you're already at war, the last thing you want to do is jump out of a plane. You want it safety, calm. I want to be left alone.
You went skiing like last month or something.
I went on a snowmobile.
Okay.
Which is,
just driving around, cruising.
I mean, I wouldn't consider that extreme, but she was talking about would I ever jump out of a plane. I said, no, absolutely not, because my life is war. And she said, what do you mean? I said, well, you're hot. Every man wanted you. I got you. I won. That was a war. My Ferrari, everyone wanted it. I bought it. I won. That was war. Along with all the residential properties I own, along with the commercial properties, along with all the domains I own, along with fighting the matrix and the legal system, that's all war. When you see something beautiful, it is war. When you see a big tree, people go, wow, big, beautiful tree. And they don't realize that that was a war amongst saplings.
As you said last time.
Where there was 30 little trees,
Top
and
G
he just
tree.
tried to destroy all the trees around him so he could grow bigger and everything else. It's war. Life has always been war. So why would I want to go start jumping out of planes? No, I want security team and a big gate and safety. I said to her, she goes, oh, but what do you mean your life's extreme? When we leave this establishment, we are going to walk to my car. There are 2 professional armed guards with me, and I am still with my head on a swivel. You're just going to walk to the car because you're a chick. Do. I think leaving the establishment and going to the car is a battle I must win. Because I have to get out, I have to look, I have to make sure I'm not going to get killed,
Coast is
I have
clear.
to get in the car.
Yep.
There's so much going on. You want to jump out the plane because you don't understand that. You think nothing's going on.
Yeah.
For me, my whole life, it's all problems. It's stress. Leave me alone. I'm not jumping out of any planes. I'm not climbing any rocks. I'm not swimming with sharks. That's all for people who don't have enough stress in their life. If you wake up and decide you want to swim with sharks, you are lacking stress, which means you are not trying very hard. Because if you were trying your absolute best and you were important and the Matrix wanted you in jail, and your enemies wanted you dead, the last thing you would want to do is go swimming with fucking sharks. You must be out your mind. It's insane. It's crazy.
Yeah.